Welcome everybody to Beats, Beds, and Browns. We couldn't be more excited to be here with Vern Brown, founder, owner, operator of Duneland Distillery. Vern, thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely, love to be here.
We asked the same question to everybody to get the conversation kicked off. Where have you been? Where are you going? And where do you come from?
We'll run those in reverse. I come from Youngstown, Ohio, steel mill town, now known as the Rust Belt.
Nice.
I've been, in the past 25 years, I've been in the traveling process engineering field, doing anything from offshore oil rigs to power generation to water and wastewater plants, programming headless computers. Ended up in Valparaiso area back in May of 2016 for a small job for NIPSCO, and never left.
So you settled here, you have family here, you're putting down roots or have roots already established? What does that look like?
I do. Well, my girls are grown and out of college now, right? So they're spreading their wings a little bit, and so I just kind of keep myself entertained with the Duneland Distillery and the Chesterton Brewery.
Okay, how did you get involved with the distillery and the brewery?
So I opened up the brewery first back September of 2019 and got that just before, 5 months before COVID hit, right?
Great timing.
Yeah, great timing. We got that up and rolling, opened back up to the public, and from there wanted to open up the distillery. I've been distilling a lot longer than I've been brewing. So there's a love there, it's a passion. And we got that open. Took 18 months, I believe, to build out, and now we're producing spirit, and we got customers in the door, so it's nice.
Okay, is there economies of scale or benefits once you start a brewery to add a distillery to that? Was it a completely different process? I know one state regulated versus federal regulated. What other challenges did you face?
Holy smokes! Well, with COVID, and I'd have to say employees are a big deal. Trying to get people to come work for you right now is definitely tough. I would have to say on the distilling side, it's a little bit more of a challenge because here we put our spirits in glass. There's a global glass shortage going on right now, so it's very tough when product comes available. You got to jump on it. So you could have a bunch of booze, but nothing to put it in.
And what does that do to product shelf stability, anticipated distribution, profit revenue channels? Obviously, there's a huge ripple effect to that.
Yes, it goes all the way down the chain. But product stability is that's fine when it comes to spirits. Not so much beer, right? So beer you want to get out fresh unless it's something barrel rested. But you could be sitting on tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars and no vessel to put it in.
Sure, you can't even distribute it if there was demand.
No.
Or if there's latent demand, you can't get it to them.
That's correct.
Nice. Do you get involved in some of the barrel-aged beers and such? It seemed to be a natural transition.
Yeah, I enjoy my barrel-aged beers. I don't drink those as much because they're
heavy and Florida.
Yeah, they're heavy and caloric intense. So, I enjoy a good beer and I enjoy a good spirit. So they go hand in hand.
Nice. What has been surprising to you in terms of the operational entity with managing the brewery and distillery? Is there anything unanticipated that came as a shock?
Yes, dealing with the feds. The timeline, as you know, is very slow. They're quick to cash your check, but slow on the turnaround. And the amount of distilleries out there are growing. So you're putting even more load on the government there, on the feds. Right now, for us to get a formula approved or a label approved, it could be an easy 30 days for that.
And who do you send that to? That's not somebody like ATF, is it?
No, so it's the TTB. And fortunately we can submit it electronically now.
Nice.
So that's kind of nice, but...
Hey, federal government, way to go. Getting into the new millennium.
We have had some labels approved and other labels rejected, and they appear to be the same thing. However, you go to one person, they want this type of verbiage. You go to another person, and their interpretation of the law is a little bit different.
So it's entirely subjective once you get to the decision maker.
Yes.
What about either the Craft Brewery Association or any craft distillers associations? Do you belong to that on a regional or national level?
On a national level, I do. America's Distilling Institute is definitely a good one. But then just talking to the neighborhood folks, you'll also pick up a lot of little tips and tricks on something they may or may not have done along the way.
Yeah. If I were to do this, not that I have.
Yes, because distilling at home currently it's illegal in the United States. So,
what about any other legislation that may surprise folks about the distillation process?
Oh, geez, any other?
Like for instance, I know cannabis in Illinois has drifted into the brewery market, but since it's federal and it hasn't been approved federally, it's not allowed in distilled spirits as of yet.
Yes, and when you're dealing when you're going from beer to spirits, it seems like there's a heightened sense of more tight to the law. To where when you're brewing beer, it's almost feels that if you're doing it in house, almost anything goes. It seems, but then when you jump into the spirit market, the regulations seem to be a lot tighter.
Is that right? Old distillation days, people used to go blind from moonshine and whatnot. I mean, is that part of that?
Well, no. There were people doing things back in the day, cutting the product with the wrong thing, using leaded solder, those sorts of things, running their spirit-fueled radiators, and that's what got people sick. Today, if you look at the equipment we have today versus back then, it's leaps and bounds as far as the technology side on what goes on. So it's a lot safer. That's why I am an advocate to turn that law over and allow people to legally distill at home.
And your process at the distillery is what type of still are you using? What's the aging process? How does that all look?
So we have a still from American Beverage Equipment. It is a hybrid still, so we can run it as a whiskey still or we can run it as a column still. So depending on what we're doing, if we're running a vodka, then we're running that through the column. However, if we're going to put out some
column still where it elevates to multiple levels, and
that's correct, and that's where some people use the term distilled 9 times or distilled 10 times. It probably only runs through the still just once.
Right.
However, they use those plates and just call that another distillation method. To where if we're running something brown, we'll want to carry over a little bit more of that flavor, so we'll run that as a whiskey. And then to be run as a whiskey, you run it a little less than 190 or 160 proof. So if you want to run right in there, 140, 160, you get some nice flavor carryover. But if you're running a vodka, you want to run off greater than 190 proof and just to really strip it down.
And is that both corn derived or?
So these are American 2-row, so it's a barley.
Okay.
My grandfather liked barley more than corn because corn has just a tint of heat to it, and where barley has more of a perceived sweetness.
Well, I'm excited to try it. What other, do you guys run a restaurant off the facility or?
Off of the brewery, we run a restaurant.
Off the brewery,
yes.
okay.
There's no restaurant at the distillery, but yeah, maybe in the future we'll get into a little bit of
tours and sampling.
Yeah, we'll do tours. We do have a sampling booth to where you can come up and taste all our products. We have several different barrel rested moonshines. We have our white dog that people are very surprised at when they taste it because it's not corn. And then we have a lot of our flavors, sipping creams, and so on. So there's something for everybody.
Absolutely. What does a typical drinker of Duneland Distillery look like? Is there a typical person? Is it demographic, or is it appeals to all? What's the?
I'm going to have to say it appeals to all, for all walks of life, men, women. It's all over the board. But how they consume the spirit is also all over the board. Some people want to come in and drink it neat. Some people want it room temperature. Other people just want one ice cube and maybe open it up with a cap full of water. Other people, they turn their nose up to that, but if you make them a martini, they're in heaven.
Right.
So there's no right or wrong answer. It's what do you prefer?
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to me about your community involvement and things you do around Chesterton and how you get active in the community, both whether it's distilling, whether it's local, whether it's the veteran community.
Okay, so yeah, we have several things. At the brewery, we really support our veterans. That's the whole backbone of the brewery is veterans brewing for veterans. And we try to funnel money to whatever agency to get those people the help they need. At the distillery, we're mostly trying to help the dunes out. Every bottle sold, we donate money to the dunes, and but then we've also helped kids out get to Texas. Chesterton High School, or Chesterton Middle School, as I was. They did a pancake breakfast at the distillery,
Nice.
and that was pretty successful because we served Bloody Marys. So pancake breakfast with Bloody Marys, and it was a big hit. And then they also done a car wash where the cars were very wet, maybe not so clean.
That's the place.
But so that's another thing. May 14th, we put on a big police event. Back to Blue 22, we called it. We raised money for Chesterton Police Department. So it's just try to do our little bit and try to help
Sure.
out.
So able and willing community partner and
Oh, absolutely.
looking for those opportunities.
Yes.
That's good to hear. Let's see. So did we talk, what got you involved in the spirits business? You said you had relocated to Valpo, you're a process engineer and all the different industries that impacts. Was this an extension of that? I mean, you had the liquid processing, manufacturing equipment experience. Why not? Yeah.
Well, I'll have to say, back in the day when I was about 4 years old, I remember being in my grandfather's basement and him running off moonshine. Back then, the word was we didn't talk about it. He called me partner. He said, partner, we don't talk about this. We don't want to let everybody know how rich we are. And I assure you, now at the 18 or 21 years old, we was not rich by any means.
Yeah.
But we didn't know that, or at least I didn't know that we was doing something illegal, right?
Sure.
And so he kind of, gave me all the family recipes, the how-tos, and kind of worked that in. So now that it's pretty easy to obtain a distiller's permit, a DSP, so you just go through the paperwork, and then I put all Grandpa's good recipes to use there right out of the
So
gate.
all that's pre-submitted, the recipe included, or do you just kind of get the certification and then?
You get the DSP, you get the distiller's permit first. That enables you or allows you to distill spirits legally. But then you ferment out, and whether it be a corn, a rye, and a barley, whatever your mash bill is, and you ferment that out just like you would a beer. From there, you run it through the still on how you'd like, and put it in a barrel or not put it in a barrel, and see what the public thinks.
Nice. Yeah, we're fairly new to the beverage industry. We've got an apple and a pear tree, and we've just started fermenting and creating some sparkling beverages. But obviously, the process is what fascinates us. So interesting to hear. We had Boone County Jail Distillery that was all corn based.
Okay.
To hear that you guys are barley based, it's just interesting.
Yeah, we do have a corn base as well.
Okay.
We do run a lot of corn, but our white dog and then some of our browns are barley or a mixture.
Barley driven, and you said that's from the flavor profile from there.
Yes.
Yeah. That's incredible. Is the facility in Chesterton, is that the primary location to be able to purchase, or do you guys have distribution throughout the state?
We are so
outside?
close to being distro. It's just working those last little bit of labels out, those last little onesie twosies, if you will. And then we'll be in the liquor stores. And but for right now, you have 124 North 8th Street up in Chesterton. You can find us there and come in. We'll run you through a tasting, see what you like, and then you can walk out with something you know you're going to like versus a guess on if you
Yeah,
like it.
no, beautiful. Stop in downtown Chesterton, check them out, make sure that we're supporting the people that support us. So, in terms of other opportunities for partnering, you mentioned again the schools, the military community. Sounds like you're able and willing to accept those partnerships.
Oh,
as
absolutely.
they are.
Absolutely. I'm a firm believer, and you got to give back a little bit to the community for the community to thrive,
Yeah.
and that's what we try to do.
Okay, fantastic. Anything coming up in mid-August or summertime that you'd like to incorporate into promotion or like to mention here and as the videos flowing?
We do have one thing coming up at the distillery. We did a collab with Running Vines Winery to where we're making a peach brandy. And what that's going to be called, that's Peaches for PTSD.
Okay.
So the proceeds from that will go, from that brandy, will go towards a nonprofit organization that helps people out with PTSD. And it's not just our veterans, it's police officers, firefighters. There's a lot of people in our community or in communities that are first responders that they see a lot.
Also suffer,
yeah, they also suffer. I think people forget about that.
Yeah, no. Cheers to our first responders. We'll toast them appropriately as the beverage is poured, but without a doubt. What about the biggest challenge you've faced in getting these businesses up off the ground? And do you still do the engineering work, or do you?
No, so I no longer. I'm full time at the distillery and brewery, and that's more than enough right there. I was working a full-time job and then trying to balance the brewery and the distillery, and now it's time to we're feet first and full in.
Ready, fire, aim, like most entrepreneurs. Yeah.
Right.
We've heard some great stories in terms of founders who were reformed attorneys and got in and started building their team, and the marketing challenges. We talked about staffing is always a challenge. Anything else that sticks out as something that is kind of a recurring challenge or something that you've had to overcome to get where you're at?
The global glass shortage is huge right now, trying to get glass. So when glass becomes, any vessel becomes available that you typically use, you better buy it. So that's a big challenge right there. And then just down to getting the feds to approve your labels or your formulas, because they're behind on resources too.
Limited staff, yeah.
Right.
What is, from a actualized standpoint, are you guys like collecting glass to recycle to be able to process that, or is it more you can't get it from the manufacturer?
No, it's tough to get from the manufacturer. I'd have to say, recycling glass is that's a good thing to do. However, that's a whole nother business in all itself.
They're not connected. Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay. Well, this is fantastic. I'm licking my lips here to get a sample. I know you brought some product. Is
that a possibility here? You want to dive in?
Hey, I am more than happy to dive in.
What would you like to try? I imagine we should go with the brown, because that's
I am
first.
Optimally a fan of browns. So
right. So this is our a lot of these batches we just shove something new out to try that. That's our label, Duneland Distillery right there, and it's the proof, and it's the state of Indiana right there. It's called Moonshine for the dunes. And then on the back there is my great grandfather, Happy Jack, who was not only a moonshiner but a Baptist minister.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but he ran shine back into Prohibition.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of a nifty story, You tell me when.
Oh, that's good. Just do a little sipper here. And what proof is this?
This is 80 proof.
Okay.
We do have barrel-proofed spirits that we put out as well, but I don't know. For me, I kind of like something down to 80.
So what should I anticipate from a flavor profile with this?
So you're going to have just a touch of vanilla. It's woody, a little bit of smoke.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, cheers to our first responders. Cheers to Vern and Duneland Distillery. We appreciate you stopping by and sampling.
Cheers to you.
Bottoms up. That's delicious.
Thank you.
I was giving it the Kentucky Chew, which somebody had shined a little light on for, but that is smooth. That you do get the hints of sweetness.
Sounds like one more sip.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's that's one of the things that one of the reasons we started Beets, Beds, and Browns is when we're out doing our thing, whether it's gardening, whether it's grilling, we like to have a brown, occasionally a cigar to go with it, just a little sipper.
Nice.
That's going to fit the bill, and we're going to incorporate that into our sipping days.
Awesome. This is for after gardening, otherwise you won't get much done. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Vern, if you don't have anything else you'd like to advocate for in terms of the upcoming summer holiday, we want to thank you for your time, and we appreciate you coming out and answering our questions, and we look
Awesome.
forward to working
Thank you
with
very
in the
much,
future.
Joe.
Thanks, Vern.
Pleasure to be on.